the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Jake, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mark It Down podcast. It is Thursday night, March 6th, exactly 1 week after my birthday, but we don't care. Time is a concept. Time isn't real. Today is my birthday, and we are celebrating with the entire pod, minus a few people who were totally invited, obviously, for obvious reasons. But I am so happy to have tonight with my friends, with Rev, with Matt, with Danny, with Nick. Guys, this is the Gym Pack Zone where we cover what?
TNA.
Wrestling.
Yay! I love all of you. Matt kind of let me down a little bit.
And to my absolute love, kind of NXT also lately.
NXT is very real, like it or not. We are in the midst of quite possibly the only true money matches that both of these rosters can offer us right now. They're going all out, all in very early in this partnership. We got 3 more years to go, but it's okay. Most of these TNA guys will be NXT superstars by next year regardless. But in general, I am just very happy to have you guys with me. I know you guys mostly watch the show, so I'll do my best to throw to you when I think you've actually watched anything. Danny is the ultimate wild card in this. I do not know what he watched. But
He's got a great poker face.
That he does. Is that your favorite grass starter?
No.
Who is your favorite grass starter?
That's a loaded question. It could be Snivy, it could be Chikorita. There's no wrong answers besides Chespin.
Okay, brutal, but okay. Poor Chespin.
Chikorita is a good answer.
You must be happy with the new trailer then.
Well, not that big, but yeah, the rest of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to choose Chikorita because...
Would you have just had Cyndaquil?
They did Cyndaquil for the last one, so I would think they would have to do a different one either way.
But all right.
It was so weird they picked 2 Johto ones. But let's talk TNA, James.
I am losing the plot a little bit, but we'll save it for the end, Danny. But let's start at the top of the show. Because quite frankly, I'm just gonna let you guys know, tonight was just a little bit of a filler episode. We are
Thanks
on the
for putting
road.
us on for this one.
I really last week, but it's okay. We're gonna have more fun together. James in the comments saying, nice to see the team all together. Thank you, Big Papa G. But yeah, this was a little bit of a filler episode as we are on the road to Sacrifice and Roadblock next week at Madison Square Garden for NXT.
The theater at Madison Square Garden.
Don't be a hater. Okay.
No. I think you got to specify. There's a
All
difference.
All right. You are fine. I will correct. NXT Roadblock at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden.
They are in the same building, so
We didn't mean to actually you, but you know.
It's okay. You guys know more about Thursday night wrestling than I do. So
I do think that's going to be a cool venue for them, though. But that's for Tuesdays. So.
I agree too.
yeah. But we start the show out with Elijah, recently signed TNA Elijah. I don't know what was going on with the Righteous. I don't know what they were teasing. I think that was just for the Jericho Cruise, which is bizarre that they would put that much time and effort into a vignette, but they did it. Regardless, Elijah, formerly known as Ezekiel and nobody else, is here in TNA, and he is taking on the System. Brian Myers being the first lieutenant of the System to take on this outsider ahead of the Sacrifice 10-man tag team match that will main event that show. Elijah, guys, I'm happy to see him having landed somewhere. I think it's kind of bizarre how long it took for him to land somewhere. Not that I think he's this incredible, amazing talent, but undeniably over.
Yeah.
So are we happy to see him here in TNA? Did you guys want to see him elsewhere?
I wish he did a Matt Cardona and was an indie god, but
He could have brought back the Drifter, drifting through the indies.
yeah, that would have
Or
been
if
cool.
he doesn't,
That would have been awesome.
if he doesn't own that, he could have brought back El Vagabondo and did that throughout the indies.
I want him to just do vignettes of him with the Incredible Hulk music and him trying to get a ride from town to town. Do 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 do.
Would you replace the guitar? Would you replace the guitar with like a stick and like a bandana with like just some various garbage in it?
No, it would be a keytar, and he'd be doing the Incredible Hulk music.
I asked.
I do like that idea. If his gimmick was he was just pouring like thumbtacks out of his weird garbage,
That would
stick,
be cool.
and that was like part of the match. But
That would be very
I think we might be onto something
Do
here.
that.
Ooh. Also,
At one point-
when he's fighting people,
Ah.
he keeps having to look back at the corner to see if his thimble is still there.
That would be good. That would be good. But let's get into the match itself. The match, it was fine. I'm not expecting greatness out of Elijah and Brian Myers, the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers. But they put on a solid enough match in what was Elijah's first singles match here in TNA. The finish coming with Elijah getting the win, hitting his finisher, getting the 1-2-3. But he couldn't quite celebrate as he was immediately ambushed by the rest of the system. This brought back everyone's favorite believer, Joe Hendry, enemy of T Republic, coming out with a guitar to make the save and protect his new ally, Elijah. They stand tall as
he appears.
Yeah.
It's also
The wings upstairs.
That's
sorry,
all
guys.
we can play without getting copyright struck.
the two new musical allies standing tall as the system are on the ramp staring down daggers at the champion and his new buddy. Did you guys raise your hand if you watched the match?
I watched everything, so I'm good.
Okay. So Danny, I'm
TLD.
going to go to you because I saw your hand up. What did you think of this matchup?
I'm so glad you threw to me first. I think that was a bright idea. First of all, happy birthday before
Thank you.
Yeah, so if no one's gonna say it, I will. Happy
appreciate
birthday. So this is 40, huh?
I really. Time is a concept. Time is a concept.
You
Time is-
wanted this.
I don't know that I wanted that. I don't think that I did.
What? I feel like that's pretty on par. I've said this on non-birthday episodes, so
I have the heart of a 12-year-old, the imagination of a 5-year-old, and the back and knees of a 72-year-old. So I guess when you average all that out, you might get 40. I'm not a
that would be
mathematician.
less.
I'm not good at math, but I can't argue with that.
Exactly. I don't know enough about stars, but I do know that
I think that would actually average out to closer to your actual age, but which we'll never say on the pod. We'll just always make up different numbers. But anyway,
Thank
you know,
29.6 repeating.
this match was good. It's okay. Like it's Elijah. You're never gonna get besides that one match with Seth Rollins. You're never gonna get a memorable match. You're just gonna get a match, and that's not what he's about.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this has to lead to what I imagine is going to be the best/worst thing in wrestling history, where he challenges Joe Hendry for the title in a guitar match where they just play riffs, and somehow that'll incapacitate the other person for a victory, and it's going to be terrible but amazing at the same time.
I immediately I'm going back to when the Street Profits were competing on a weekly basis against the Viking Experience Raiders War Machine, whatever. And I think the best way to settle whatever feud this will turn into is Guitar Hero, right? Right?
And
Just do
since there is a crossover, Omos should just show up in TNA in a ninja costume just for that continuity,
Wow. Deeper cut. I thought I went deep. You went deeper, and I appreciate that about you. Rev, what did you think of the match?
Like you said, the match was fine. Nothing spectacular. I did like that Elijah has. I don't know if it's the exact same theme he had in NXT, but it's something very similar to what he did with the strum to open and then what he came out to. So, and because that was a really good fit for him, so I'm glad he went back to it. I think the most surprising thing for me was the finish. Having not seen him wrestle in a while, Myers kicked out and drift away, which they actually called. Shout out Hannafin, man, I miss him. And then he actually hit a pile driver for his finish, which I think was a tombstone at that. So that was a little surprising. Once you see WWE guys start using pile drivers again, throws you off a little. But that's his finish. That's cool. And they're setting up for this chaotic 10-man tag on Sacrifice. So they did its job. That's what it was there to do, and it was a fine match.
Are you predicting an Elijah versus Hendry face-off at some point?
I think so, but based on last week, I think Elijah will just be like, "Hey, I'm coming for your title now." I don't think he's going to be a dick about it.
Yeah. No, I hope he does work his best as a heel, I think, personally. I think he could be a charming face, but I think he's at his best as a heel.
Yeah, Ezekiel's a good face, but Elijah...
His brother, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, if he ever crosses the line into NXT, they should just make him another brother that they've never met before. Elias has a twin brother that also plays guitar.
That would be fantastic. Does anybody remember off the top of their head what Elias's last name was?
Samson.
It was Samson. Okay. Man, I had a B in there for some reason. But, all right. The Samson family arguably rivaling the Dudleys at this point.
Yeah.
This is Elrond erasure right now.
All right. Moving on. We're going to go to the hardest working woman in TNA. Mean Gia Miller, backstage with ex-boyfriend.
Is anyone going to say anything? Or...
I'm just making sure.
Your mic went underwater, James.
Really? Is it still bad?
I think you're back.
In and out.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
You're
Better.
good.
That was weird.
We're live, folks.
Sorry about that. I have literally no idea what that was because I was just sitting here.
Yeah.
But
Thank God
Repeat
we're
yourself.
we are backstage with the hardest working woman in TNA, Mean Gia Miller, as she is interviewing the Rascals and her ex-boyfriend Ace Austin.
Awkward.
Very. Ace and the Rascals have a feud, an interpromotional feud going on against Wesley and his guys Tyson and who's the other guy's name?
Tyson
and Tyreek.
Yeah, it's Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Gibson.
Fake ass Rascals.
Yeah.
10 choices, 10 guesses. I wouldn't have gotten that last name.
Real quick, we were talking about like TNA getting their talent poached. Can we just have NXT give Wesley to TNA? Like, is that an option?
Here's the thing. I think he would benefit from it because he is getting swallowed up in NXT, in my opinion. In the worlds of Trick Williams, Oba Femi, even fucking Ethan Page. Wesley is just...
Which is insane because he carried NXT during 2.0. He carried
it as a face, though.
Yes.
He is way more entertaining. To me, he's one of the rare cases of I would rather see you as a baby face than as a heel.
Yeah.
Especially because you do have these guys who are arguably better than him on the mic as a heel. But
Name 5.
In NXT, no, you're going to say no to every single one of them.
Like I have an opinion on NXT.
Ethan Page, you don't have an opinion. Oh, I got away with it. Okay.
John Spears.
We'll just leave
You
it.
can't do it.
The new NXT North American champion, Sean Spears, by the way. Bravo to the Perfect 10, winning his first singles title.
He's not the Perfect 10 anymore.
Shout out to Stan.
In our heart. I'm still calling Jericho Y2J. I don't care what. Not up to him.
I still call him Stan.
Again, the deep cuts tonight. Proud of this team and proud of our integrity as wrestling journalists. Take that, SRS. I love SRS. He's my favorite of all of them, but he was getting a lot of shit this week, so it was just easy.
I was gonna say, I'm like, wow, shots
Bro,
fired
Sean
by
gets shit like
James,
every
and then
week, bro.
he immediately backtracks, and I'm like, now I'm disappointed.
What were you saying, Danny?
So Sean gets shit like every day. It's like
Well, no, in
the
this
weirdest
instance,
people.
Sean specifically was like, "Hey guys, I'm sorry, I can't cover Dynamite today. Physically and mentally, it's just been a rough week, so I'm skipping out." And then some guy just went on a fucking tirade, just obliterating, just thinking he was being edgy, like cool and dark, but he just sounded like an edgy asshole.
Imagine thinking you're cool watching wrestling and talking about it on the internet.
Imagine having a wrestling page on Twitter where you talk shit about other guys with wrestling pages on Twitter.
I was about to say, and also that you're being mean, like, specifically.
As opposed to our Twitter, where it's pure positivity. Looking at you guys. Looking at you guys who run the Twitter page.
I don't do it anymore. I exclusively use our Blue Sky, so I'm the only
I
one who has
also
the password to
exclusively
it.
use our Blue Sky, and we just tweet about the Mets all day.
God, what a world. But anyway, Ace talking with the Rascals ahead of their matchup against Wesley and his guys, talking about their history. That Ace didn't hide the fact that they had a kind of checkered past together. That Ace had, in particular, made Trey Miguel's life a living hell when they were going back and forth for the X Division Championship. But he never called himself a friend and betrayed him, unlike Wesley. I thought this was a nice acknowledgement of their history. I'm a big fan. Ace Austin is my TNA guy. He is my star of the future. I would love to see him be the actual first person from TNA to win an X. What happened? There you go. Total. Look at that lower third. I love it. Total nonstop Ace Austin. I would love for him to be the first person from TNA to actually win a NXT championship. I think that would be fantastic. And the Rascals have really come into their own into this feud with Wesley. I think this is an instance where NXT's talent is helping, in a rare instance, to elevate the TNA talent and not vice versa. So really cool little wrap up for these three guys. And of course, Trey telling us all to smoke them if we got them. And I felt like that was directed right at Danny. I nicked too. Who are we kidding? But like at the same time, it made me feel great that you guys were here for this tonight.
I feel like
Go ahead.
that doesn't apply. Isn't smoke 'em if you got 'em specifically in reference to cigarettes?
Yes.
All right. I will
Usually.
say very clearly these guys are not talking about cigarettes.
They're
But it
talking
doesn't
about
make
the
sense
funny
otherwise,
cigarettes.
because
Jazz
it wouldn't be smoke M, it would be smoke it if you got it, you know?
I mean, you could have a bunch of joints.
Yeah, they sell them in like 5-packs now.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come with a little lighter. It's pretty cool.
Look at that.
We live in a surreal time.
I'd rather
We live
get
in
just
a
like
society.
a pre-roll that has like the hash on the outside. Yeah, I feel like that's
Oh, but
better
those send you to like another planet.
Yeah, but like if you're outdoors, you're going to
Those get you watching NWA.
Shoes of a champion.
mini rant. Did anybody have on their bingo card a WWE NWA cross?
No, not at all.
Natalia.
She's also going to be in GCW WrestleMania weekend.
It makes sense.
Okay.
'Cause he was never going to make the card, so like.
At least, I mean, rough but true. At least GCW makes sense. They are socially relevant in some way. NWA, really?
Yeah, the
I don't know who
pandemic
that's more
killed them.
insulting to. What the pandemic? Well, pandemic killed them, and Billy Corrigan killed them. In my opinion.
Yep.
But that's a rant for a different episode. As we move on to the first class penthouse with AJ Francis, the second best AJ in TNA history. What's up, Maria? Thank you for coming to the Gym Pack Zone. I think this is your first time here, so thank you for joining us.
That's
I
right. NWA is trash.
All right, before we say anything worse about NWA, shout out to our friend Luxury Aaliyah, who was on NWA on their last show on Sunday. So good for her.
Yeah, no, hey, never a knock on the talent.
Get your booking, yeah.
But we can criticize the company. We do it with WWE all the time.
Of course. By all means, please continue.
We are out with AJ Francis and Casey Navarro, who are on their second episode of the Penthouse. And for the second straight episode, they tease having a great guest. They talked about the prize fighter KO, but it was a joke. It was just Casey Navarro that they were referencing. I heard a beep. Did something
Rev's
just happen?
Wi-Fi. You know how it goes.
Okay.
No, I accidentally hit back on my keyboard.
How is he KO though? Like that's not his initials.
None of it makes sense. They're just stupid. Like
Okay.
they are like
It was a really bad joke.
Yeah, it was a great question on your part, Matt. But you are thinking more about it than they did with this joke. But
right.
AJ Francis and Casey Navarro talking about their interactions with Steve Macklin last week, when Macklin himself comes out and kind of just interrupts everything, drops some really good one-liners, calling AJ Francis the Temu Suge Knight. I thought that was really funny. He asks them if either of them wants to fight tonight. Francis says just give him 30 minutes to get his gear on, and then he's going to kick Macklin's ass. Macklin tells him, take your 30 minutes, big boy. I know you guys are not as familiar with AJ Francis in TNA. You are obviously more familiar with Top Dollar and how great he was in WWE. But
Let me interrupt you right now, okay? I didn't watch any of him in WWE. I have seen more clips of him in TNA than I have seen clips of him in WWE, besides the one clip of him fucking up the dive.
Master of the Tope.
it really sucks that is his legacy, because in my opinion, and I hope you guys all saw the match later, I think he's developed so well since then.
Also,
I
his
also think he's
his
just, like,
blood
good
sugar was
personality.
like 600 or something. Like,
Yeah, he was having a rough night that night. And I know that's very personal to you, Matt. Danny, what were you saying?
I was just saying he really developed his person. He's a likable guy.
Yeah.
When you pretend the WWE run never happened, or the sneaker comments never happened, like
Yes, AJ Francis does suck in kayfabe, but legit, I do like him, and I love Steve Macklin. I long on record as being the only man to cheer him against Mike Santana in House of Glory, to the point that he actively acknowledged it in the crowd. It was awkward.
you're a likable guy, James. Like, who
I
could who?
appreciate that. But so we have this matchup set up for later between Macklin and Francis. Macklin reminding everybody that he is in fact married, as he rebuffed a non-advance from one of the women that was with Francis.
That was great.
Macklin, another guy who, if you're only familiar with him through his WWE run and his run in NXT as part of the Forgotten Sons, so much better here, so much more comfortable here, and has really done some great work, especially regarding military PTSD. His segment a couple months ago is still something that a lot of fans talk about. So very interested to see these two former WWE stars really shine here in TNA. But moving forward, do you guys want to talk about this segment, or did you want to just talk about the matchup?
Nothing in the world will ever get me to give a shit about AJ Francis.
Damn it.
With that being said, I think Steve Macklin is currently having a run that could be a Drew McIntyre level career turnaround.
Oh, wow.
Because compared to where he was in the Forgotten Sons and Corbin's little wolf pack or whatever.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that.
Whatever they called him, his knights or whatever. And especially during the Josh Alexander feud, I became a big fan of Steve Macklin.
Really
I became a big fan.
We have a highlight here on the pod. We were covering something. I forget what we were covering. I don't know if we were covering SmackDown or whatever, but the TNA pay-per-view was happening at the same time, and he was defending the TNA World Title against PCO, and he had stapled PCO's mouth shut. And I'm watching that in horror as we're covering the show, and I needed to take a break because I could not process what I had just seen.
It's a short somewhere here on the channel. It was, yeah. You were like this, and I had to stop the show. I was like, "What's going on?"
Super unprofessional of James. We were literally.
Yes, it's me, you, and Danny.
It was an important review, and James was like, "I need to fucking give all my attention to this and not our jobs."
I was pulling double duty that night. I was covering both shows right after one another. Let's see what Maria has here in the comments. Steve should have had a long run with the TNA Championship. The reign was not worthy of the chase that he had for the championship. He was fighting tooth and nail to get that belt, and then the reign didn't live up to it, unfortunately. But that was because he kind of got stuck in the middle of everything else going on. We had to deal with Alex Shelley's ascension to the TNA World Title. We had the incoming talent of former WWE stars. There was a lot going on.
Do you think that he got put into that position because Josh got hurt?
Yes.
He was going to win the title from Josh, I believe.
You don't think Josh would have retained and then they would have just had him drop to Shelley?
Yes.
That's always the interesting part there. I think he deserves another run with the title.
I agree. I don't know that Josh would have retained because they had already gone down that road with Josh having beaten Macklin prior. I think the story was lending itself to Macklin winning. Now, granted, I don't think they had much of a plan past him winning. I think it was always meant to be a transitional thing, but it's unfortunate that he got saddled with a lot of weaker like I love that PCO match and it's very memorable, but when PCO is your number one contender, you're not in a great spot. So just, I don't know. I agree with you. I think Macklin is more than worthy of a second TNA title run. It's just look who is in that main event scene right now. You have Joe Hendry. You have Nick Nemeth. All right. I'm starting to think he belongs in the main event scene.
Elijah will get in that place at some point.
Elijah will get the title shot.
I'm sure Eric Young will as well.
Yeah. We're going to see, obviously, some NXT stars coming in and challenging for the title. So I think you could fit him in, but given that we had the 1-2 punch of Nemeth and now Hendry is champion, and I'm sure it is just we're all counting down until Mike Santana wins the title. It becomes harder to justify putting the title on Macklin in the anywhere in the recent past or even somewhat in the foreseeable future. But I am absolutely rooting for it. Guy, I think, has really turned a lot around. So, rooting for the Macklin McClanaissance. Is Matt the zombie Is Matt in the zombie apocalypse basement?
No,
I like the tour, Matt.
I was gonna go over to the regular spot with the Lego, and I'm like, I've got the couch. I don't want to. But now I've
go back.
Go back. Do not be bullied into sitting somewhere.
Go on the couch. I just wanted to bring it
Matt,
up.
bullying him into sitting on the couch.
Do what you want.
Sit on the
Matt.
staircase, Matt. All right, it's fine.
Go wild.
Don't mind
Just
me.
keep walking around the place.
Continue the tour of your house while James
My
does the
childhood
gym
home, yeah.
Moving on, we go to our first knockouts match of the night as Savannah Evans took on Zaya Brookside. Now, this match has a little bit of history, as they spoke about on commentary, that Savannah had injured Zaya in a triple threat, also involving Rosemary.
What a bitch. I needed to say something. It felt right in the moment.
Okay.
No, it wasn't that you said. It was just how you said it and when.
It was just so matter of fact. It was passionate, and I know that hating women is a passion, but for you, but it caught me off guard.
Yeah, no, just solid comedic timing. That's all it was.
That was a pot
Thank you.
kettle
I
moment
tried.
for James right there.
It's very similar to the Hangman MJF feud, where it's just like one of these guys is a heel. One of these guys thinks he's a heel. I'm in my John Cena thinking I'm a heel phase. But anyway, Savannah has been building up a lot of momentum with the very thin knockouts division as of late. We've seen a lot of upheaval, obviously, with the debut or the reintroduction of Tessa Blanchard, the departure of Jordan Grace, and the ascension of Masha Slamovich as Knockouts champion. Yep. Big fan of Masha here on the pod. And Savannah has built up supporters over the last couple of years where a lot of her fan base has been waiting patiently for her to finally get these shots at the title. And she finally had her first one-on-one shot for the Knockouts title a couple of weeks ago against Masha. It was a really fun meat match between these two women. Obviously, Masha is a little tiny, but she's a hard hitter. And she did pulverize that meat. But we're still
You're going to have to rethink that one.
No, I think she'd be proud of it. I think she'd like it. But I'm happy to see Savannah not immediately falling down back to the card. And Zaya, who's missed some time again, like I said, to injury, kind of getting back into the heat of things. She got screwed by the injury of Steph DeLander. That completely derailed the storyline she was in. The injury didn't help. Yep, we will get to Zaya Lee in a little bit. Very happy to have her here in TNA. Again, a slow start for her. But this matchup was fine. We saw a recurring theme of Zaya being a little hesitant to go for the kill. There was a moment or two where it looked like Savannah might have been injured, and she allowed herself to take a moment to breathe. Savannah did not return that. The finish coming after, again, Zaya being worried about Savannah's well-being, checking with the ref if Savannah was good to continue, turned around and just whopped with a massive clothesline from behind. This allows Savannah to pick up the 1-2-3, and her reign of terror is, I guess, hopefully getting ready to really go into full throttle. It should be noted that Rosemary was watching from the rafters for some reason. Rosemary,
like a creep.
If you say that, then that means Sting is a creep, and I refuse to live in that world.
Well, I was going to say maybe like Sting, but I'm like, has she earned that yet?
If Darby did, Rosemary did.
It didn't even look like the rafters. It looked like a forgotten like box that somebody sits in for like an opera.
Full Sail University is not big enough to have rafters.
As long as there's like a metal pipe going from one side of the roof to the other, it's a rafter.
It's where the old men from the Muppets hang out.
Yeah, that was a stable in Waldorf. Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
there we go.
There's way better seats than that.
Yeah, no, they actually have good seats.
Yeah. All right, what did everybody think of the match? I'm going to go, Nick. Rev, what did you think?
It was a good match. I enjoyed seeing these women for the first time. It was the ending I thought was interesting just because it ended so suddenly. Like I like the idea of Brookside not going for the kill and getting lambasted for it on commentary, but then you saw the opposite of Evans just getting up in that instance and just knocking Brookside's block off. So yeah, thank you. It's called a theater box. Thank you. You know it. The theater. But yeah, no, I did like the ending. I think my only question really coming away from this is, did Danny know that Zaya Brookside comes out to a Simple Plan song?
Important question.
Did you know that, Danny?
Oh, damn it. All right, this is where I admit that I didn't watch the show.
Really?
Yeah, what Simple Plan songs come out to?
I'm going to have to look it up. Hang on.
TNA can afford a Simple Plan song?
It's like them and like two other bands, too. It's not just them.
Oh, Where I
NXT,
Belong,
TNA,
then? That's probably the
NXT,
name.
yeah.
I'm not going to find it. But yeah, no, they come out to one.
If it has two other bands, it's definitely Where I Belong.
Yeah, I think that's
Which
it.
is fine.
It's
Those
not-
other two bands are weak. But
It's not What's New Scooby-Doo? That she didn't come out to that?
No, but we did have a Scrappy Doo reference earlier as Steve Macklin called Casey Navarro Scrappy Doo.
That's what he called him that I couldn't remember that I really liked.
Matt just like loosened that from my memory because I was struggling to think of what it was before.
It's Simple Plan State Champs, and we are we the Kings. So
yeah, where I belong. I don't like State Champs or We the Kings, so it's not my favorite. But
see, Maria, you are half right. They are the old dudes, but they are amazing jokes. They are not bad jokes.
I've been rewatching the old Muppets episodes, and they hold up, man. They're so funny.
I heard the 2013 series is actually really good.
Oh, the Office style one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was really funny. It should never gotten canceled.
I heard it was really good. It's just they put themselves in a bad position, like how it was aired, how it was marketed. Like it's hard to hype up a kid show with a PG-13 feel. You don't really know how to advertise that to people.
It was made for me, and I didn't watch it for it not to get
Well, that's the thing. It's just like, did you like the Muppets when you were a kid? Great. Yes. Well, they're back, and it's for you now as an adult without it being like Adult Swim level.
Didn't they do that with Ren and Stimpy too?
No.
But it was Adult Swim level.
Ren and Stimpy was always adult level. It's just we got the edited version. I vividly have a memory of Ren and Stimpy having sex very early.
All right, moving on. What's next on the show?
Just saying, that's canon.
This is a Save of the World off joke.
This show not half bad. It's all bad.
It's all bad.
You know it. Coming in hot. You know it. I love it. But yeah, after this matchup, we had our digital segment. We had a couple of these vignettes throughout the night as I struggle to pull up the banner. We had Spitfire. No, I got it. Spitfire interacting with the losers of their rematch, the Elegances, both Ash and Heather. The stipulation being whoever lost the match would be the servants for 24 hours to the winners. The Knockouts champions retained and gained, slaves? Like, is that
servants?
Like indentured servitude, I think is what we're really going for here.
I feel like we're circling the drain on slave a little bit, but that's fine. I've been a big advocate for Dana Brooke, aka Ash by Elegance here in TNA. She is not ever going to be a 5-star work rate person, but she's really finding herself with this trailer park gimmicky character. And her having the concierge, the Iceman, in her corner has been great. Has really helped sell the character. And her having this protege in Heather Reckless, has been great. So really seeing her go out of her comfort zone, both women, both Heather and Ash, just totally made up to look. How would we describe this look? Is it punk? What is it?
So, some sort of alternative
British
mishmash.
Green spiked
Yeah.
have to have like a definitive name.
It's 80s. It's when the grandmas from Glow turned into, the toxic, whatever they were. It's been a while since I watched Glow.
They look like skins from Rock Band.
Nailed it.
I miss Glow.
It's like someone had like a general idea of like punk culture and was just like, this looks like it's right.
I've seen some people online call them goth, and no. Sorry, not goth.
Yeah, but, definitely not that.
I thought this was a fun bit. I thought the style, like the filming style, was a little off for it. It was a little jarring to see it look so grainy and scratchy. But
I wanted to comment on that. I liked the filter a lot. I just don't think it worked for this. It kind of made it look like, we didn't do a great job. So what should we do? Oh, just throw a filter on top of it. And it was just kind of like, it was a little too much.
Gotcha.
I thought it was a cool filter, but not for this. And I didn't hate it, but like, again, I think we're on the same page with this.
I appreciated the effort. I just don't think they nailed the execution. And coming off of who are they? AEW, the Outrunners.
Yeah. Yep.
Coming off the Outrunners, much superior version of it yesterday. It was just poor timing, I think, for them, unfortunately.
Even that, like, I don't think it was great, but it was like sometimes less is more. And the Outrunners, if you're putting these head to head, the Outrunners definitely they won.
Oh,
Yeah.
there were plenty of people on Reddit last night on the thread for the Outrunner segment. They were like, if you lived through the 80s, this is exactly what it looked like.
Not just on TV, but for real.
Yeah, a little more cocaine, but yeah, pretty much the same. Also, TIL that Dana Brooke is Ash by Elegance. I don't know how I didn't pick that up last week or this week, but
What?
Are you just learning this?
yeah, I swear to God,
Oh my god.
Have you never watched wrestling?
And that is a teachable moment.
I don't watch a lot of TNA, man. This is the first time I think ever I've watched TNA 2 weeks in a row because we were supposed to be on the show all together last week, and then James partied too hard for his birthday, so we didn't do the show. So I had to watch 2 weeks in a row.
I would like to reiterate that party too hard on my birthday was going to dinner with my family and then realizing I have a very achy shoulder.
Yeah, that's
Hey, man,
partying too
how do you
hard for
get
you
your
because you're
kicks?
40.
Hey, oi, what's happening?
Oi,
Something-
oi.
29.6.
Eating.
But
But,
look, don't give Rev a hard time that he didn't know it was Dana Brooke. All right, he subscribes to the Dana Brooke replacement theory, but this isn't even the original Dana Brooke. We're on like 2 or 3 now.
Is this like an
No.
Ultimate Warrior rift?
No, it's the
More
Avril
like the Avril
Lavigne thing.
Lavigne conspiracy.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Good stuff, guys. But at this point, just quick thing. Does anybody actually compare the Ash by Elegance character to Tiffany Stratton at this point? Like, in good faith?
No, it
What?
was
Who
initially
did
people
that?
were saying it was Tony Storm because of the hair. I'm like, look, she just got her hair shortened. It's not that big a deal. It's not Tony Storm. Sorry.
I spoke to Ash about it. I spoke to her about it, and she was saying, like, I'm getting a lot of people are saying I'm a ripoff of Tiffany Stratton.
I mean, she came first. Like Tiffany, I think she's got the I'm Barbie down. So if Ash by Elegance does Barbie stuff, then yeah, you're kind of ripping off Tiffany. But she's like a perfume commercial. Like literally Ash by Elegance, the name, it's like that's a perfume. A
She acts
fictional
like
perfume.
like an influencer, or almost like a Kardashian. Tiffy doesn't do that. Tiffy is like a spoiled, rich like girl. That's
Daddy's
what
girl.
Tiffy's character is. Yeah, spoiled rich daddy's girl. That's what her character is. They're completely different, other than the fact that they're blonde.
Yeah, that's not enough, and some other things.
Yeah, see, 2 weeks, and I know what I'm talking about.
There you go. Once the final piece of the puzzle that was Dana Brooke fell into place,
Yeah.
everything.
He was on board.
her.
Like this show.
I have heard of Ash by Elegance. I had heard all those arguments before. It just never clicked in my head that that's Dana Brooke.
Rev's
I
like,
had no idea what happened to her.
I've never seen them in the same room before.
It's like the scene in 22 Jump Street where the timer goes off and Channing Tatum realized Schmidt fucked the cat's daughter.
All-time comic. All-time.
No way. No way. It's really not that funny.
I beg to differ, sir. But moving on, we go to our next matchup as John Schuyler with Jason Hotch, the Great Hands now, formerly known as the Good Hands, prepared to do the bidding of their leader, their elected official, soon to be, Mustafa Ali,
Chief.
as they take on Mike Santana. This feud has been brewing for a little bit with Ali disrespecting Santana upon his return and Santana not taking too kindly to it. And now that Mustafa has this new cabinet with him with the Great Hands and Tasha Steelz, we're seeing more of an uphill battle for Santana than it would have been just one-on-one. But we've seen already Santana does not hesitate in these multi-man feuds as he took on all of the system by himself and came out on top. So this match was, quite frankly, it went a little longer than I thought it would, with some highlights being Santana hitting the Three Amigos and then finishing the match with a sit-down powerbomb. Not usually one of his finishes. He does have a few, but this was an unexpected pin. But he nailed it. He got the 1, 2, 3. Schuyler tried attacking as well after the match, but then Santana hit him with the spin the block finisher, his rotating lariat. And as he's getting ready to leave, Mustafa gets on the screen and confronts Santana about his past. something that I want to talk about in depth in a second, and I want your guys' opinion on it.
Me
But
too.
Confronting Santana's past as a alcoholic and something that he has been very open with, saying that he has reached out to the board at Anthem, the owners of TNA, and has convinced them that Santana needs to undergo testing, drug testing, just to ensure a safe working environment. So we will be getting what was that?
I just chuckled.
I know where it's going to, and I'm not happy about it. To ensure a safe working environment, we will be getting a random urine screening later in the evening. Out comes a flunky in a suit with a cup and a lid, which he hands to Santana, and he is just very disappointed and very upset. And really bringing out the New Yorker in him, as he said, "This dude's got me bugging, bro." At that, we go to commercial break. Now, who's watched the match at this point? All right, so Matt, I'm sending it to you, and then Danny.
Yeah, the match was fine. It did what it had to do. It makes Mike Santana look good. The great hands get some work, continues this feud. I thought the drug testing was kind of weird because I'm like, when he did that, I'm like, Santana's like, I don't know about him. I know enough, but I'm just like, I'm pretty sure alcohol has been his past vice. He's been sober for a while now. I think he just hit a milestone in sobriety. It was at least like 1 year. So congratulations to Mike on that. And he's like, "Oh, I want you to take like a drug test." And I'm like, "But that's for drugs, right? Don't you check alcohol by blood or by breathalyzer or by a physical test? Like, can you check alcohol by piss? I don't think so."
I mean, I'm sure you can, but I'm also sure that it's not the most efficient way of doing it at this point. Like, obviously, the breathalyzer comes first. Obviously, there are so many other methods at this point. But
I mean, somebody Google it real quick because I can't because I'm on my phone. But like, I would bet money that like that's not one of the things you can test with a peeing in a cup.
Well, I think the idea in general is that Ali is trying to establish that Santana is not a reliable person, and he is
he's trying to paint him as an addict.
Yeah.
The answer, by the way, is yes. You can test alcohol in urine.
All right, fair enough.
And he didn't have to Google that; he just knew it.
But did you know it, Danny? I did it for your benefit.
I mean, Danny is.
I'm also on my phone, so I couldn't Google it.
Matt, you are now sideways, but the recurring thread of this feud has been that Ali is trying to discredit and belittle Santana's. We're upside down.
I know. I'm trying to get it to.
My neck doesn't go that way.
Just either a week or two ago, interrupting Santana's AA meeting. And I'll be honest, I don't really care so much about the semantics of like things like, well, I can you test through urine and stuff like that. This just feels icky. This just feels icky. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind referencing real life issues in stories if everyone's okay with it. But I feel of all the ways they could have taken this story, this was not the way it needed to go. You could have just gone with I'm a high class person and you're from the Bronx, you bum.
I get what you're saying, James, but also I'd like to kind of dissect what you just said, that like, oh, he's just trying to get under his skin. Later on, if you don't mind, can I skip ahead? Because it's like, or should I just
I want to get everybody's opinion first, but we'll get there.
All right.
But Danny, what did you think of what I was saying?
Well, I don't mind the content of the story as long as all parties are cool with it, or really the one party that's, in that case,
Ali,
is cool with it. That's fine. Yeah. As long as Ali's okay with saying these terrible things about Santana, that's all that matters, honestly. But I just think it's a little bit of a waste when Jeff Hardy is right fucking there, layup, and you just why waste this on Santana? Go for the big boys. Jeff's right there, and then you have a relationship with WWE now, so hey, maybe you can rehash it with Jey Uso one day or Jimmy Uso. You know, like there's could use this. This is good stuff by Ali.
Wasting it on Santana, yeah.
Hey, we're hopeful future friend of the pod, Mike Santana here. How's the glory?
I mean it with all respect to him.
Yeah, we're not like we're saying like because I don't think he has any DWIs. You know what I mean? So it's like oh, you used to have issues with alcohol. It's like yeah, but I didn't let it like ruin my life. And
that
also,
he got arrested for? How do we know? Maybe Ali's onto something.
Why don't we do another Google check?
Look, I'll trust Ali in this one, but I really think it's a subject that we don't have the most education about. So let's ask our alcoholic, Rev. What do you got on this topic?
Hey guys, thanks for that.
No.
I don't know. I've never loved these type of angles. Like I remember back when Jericho was feuding with Punk, there was this whole thing with like the alcoholism. I know it's Punk straight edge, but Jericho was trying to get him to be a drunk. Although it did lead to the very funny segment where Punk passed the drug test. The sobriety test after faking his way through it in the beginning. But I don't know. It like you guys said, I think if all parties, especially the one who has the struggles, are okay with it, then sure, fine. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to enjoy it thoroughly. That being said, Santana's comeuppance later in the show was pretty funny. So,
Nick, what about you?
I do want to say, yes, Mike Santana has gone to jail, but it's not for alcohol. So,
what was it for?
Credit card fraud.
No,
wow,
really?
Yeah,
you're
color crime.
To be fair, he did it in Florida. So, to be fair.
How long was he in jail?
All rules are off.
He said it said he had 2 stints between 2009 to 2013.
So we don't know for sure, but
yeah. With that being said, I was going to compare this to the capitalizing on what you said, James. I was going to compare this to the Jeff Hardy and Sheamus feud from a few years ago.
Yeah.
But then Danny said mean stuff about Jeff Hardy, and I don't want to do it anymore.
I would say
I'll say more mean stuff to make up for it if you're not going to say mean stuff.
Instead of doing a drug test, Mustafa, sorry, I still like calling him Mustafa. He should have made him do like he should have checked his credit score, you know? Like,
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Is anybody else?
They could get a Credit Karma sponsor. That's he's on to something.
I'm not proud of what I'm about to say, but hearing that he went to jail for credit card fraud is giving me a major ick right now. Like I actually view him like in a much worse light than if he had actually gotten arrested for DWI.
Hey! He was a different person. It was a different time. He hasn't gotten arrested for credit card fraud since,
and he's never gotten arrested for drinking and driving. So that's a plus.
That's true.
That we know of. Damn, I really am falling for Ali's bullshit. It's because it's Jeff Hardy coded that I'm just doing this right now.
Propaganda is a powerful tool.
It really is.
James is more grossed out by the credit card stuff because it's money related and he's rich, so he's offended by a poor person using the same sort of cheats that people in James's position use.
I just think it's funny that Santana was so pissed about it, but not pissed about it enough that like he threw the cup somewhere. Like he took the cup with him and left to go to the back.
Well, he certainly pissed somewhere.
I don't want to compare it to the Jeff Hardy Sheamus stuff because that was like bad and like kid-ish, like kiddie. Whereas like you can do this, but you have to be an adult about it. You can't do fucking like a goofy ass Sheamus and terrible Jeff Hardy. I don't even have anything. Just terrible Jeff Hardy.
Just terrible Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Well, introducing first.
Well, we will get into
nuance Jeff Hardy
in a little bit. But we then go back to our next match as we have follow up to the earlier segment. AJ Francis versus Steve Maclin. I'm going to say it. I really like this matchup, guys.
It was good.
Yeah.
AJ hit a massive spear.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone that big hitting a spear that well, I guess, positioned. Like I remember Big Show's spears; those were terrible. This was a nice spear.
That's a man who played defensive end.
Macklin eventually getting the upper hand before the Northern Armory, led by now Eric Young, comes out, and they sort of have his back a little bit. But he doesn't want it. He doesn't want their help. He doesn't want their protection. He wants to stay away from them. He gets distracted just enough into a big, massive choke slam from AJ Francis, who gets the 1, 2, 3. Quite frankly, this was the way it needed to go. Francis is in major need of a big win, and this loss doesn't hurt Macklin, who's in a bigger storyline right now. Nick, I think this is the first match that you watched, really?
No, this was the last match that I watched.
Okay. So
Nick missed the last 40 minutes of the show.
Yeah, I missed. Yeah. But I did watch the match, and look, I know before I said you can't ever get me to care about AJ Francis. I can acknowledge that this was a good showing from him, and he has definitely improved from his time as Top Dollar. But I don't care, and I don't want to see him win stuff.
I mean, AJ Francis is the best member of Hit Row that isn't Swerve.
Sure. Let me ask you this, Nick.
Okay, who you got?
Can you name another member?
I was not about to say that.
I mean, wow.
What a day!
Oh my God! Happy birthday, producer boy.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Producer
I'm
boy,
taking it.
Eric, who's your favorite Hit Row member?
The black girl.
PPV. Somebody finally remembered.
in character,
Yes.
Rick.
What's up?
We were saying that's very on par for you. That's very in character for you to like.
I was looking at her the other day. I was like, I know this is my vibe, but I don't really know if it's my vibe. She's a little too
Uppity?
I don't know. Matt, you should finish.
Uppity.
Uppity is the word.
Oh no.
She's not hot enough for Matt.
Oh man.
I was just
Danny
looking
really
for
happy
Eric.
that he's not on screen right now.
That is a cancelable phrase
Uppity?
there.
Uppity is a cancelable. What?
Can we switch me and Matt positions on the Zoom so that the gooners are on bottom and like the normal people are on top?
Yeah, I got you. There you go.
Nice.
Nick,
Do
the
we-
most notorious gooner of them all.
I just love girls, okay?
Does the ranking change throughout the show?
Wait, what was that, Eric?
I said, does the ranking change throughout the show?
Ref should just be moving people around periodically
Yeah, dude,
as
that
he
should be-
likes what they say.
That should be our thing.
Wish I just had a shuffle button.
I don't hate it.
And then whoever ends up in last place by the end of the episode has to do something fucked up.
I don't hate it, but I also know, and I say this, Danny, I'm sorry. I know there is never going to be an instance that if you come in last, you'll ever do the fucked up thing.
Oh, that's 100% true.
Danny's fucked up thing is he's got to turn his camera on.
Dang.
Love on-air talent meetings, but this
Are
is the
you
first
on-
time we've all been together, I think, since the start of the show. So
Are you on set right now, Eric?
No, I'm
You're in the bathroom.
yeah.
get him out of here.
Are you working on the Spielberg movie?
No, I was doing a recreation show. A recreation show about a high school girl's murder.
Fun.
So should I be expecting you on the news tomorrow or Saturday?
Are you playing the high school girl?
They do that sometimes. They have some of the crew act.
I mean, you could definitely be one of those things, the stand-ins, because you have like the hair, like from behind, you could probably stand in for like a woman.
I've done it before.
Or like the stunt double when they need someone to like actually take the bullet or whatever.
Dude, I volunteer every time. Today we had a gun on set and a knife, and they were like, "Does anybody want to check to see if this knife is dulled?" You know, I stepped up.
Who'd you stab?
No,
No.
Himself. What are you talking about? He's got 2 wrists.
he went both across the street and down the road, and he's still here.
Oh, Jesus.
This got dark. This got dark as shit.
You gave me a hard time for
Yeah.
saying uppity.
We're done. Margaret
No,
done
fuck
podcast.
everything you just said. Uppity is still worse.
Yeah. It is.
Was
Bro,
the
did you watch The Honeymooners before this? What are you saying?
Straight to the moon.
Oh.
James, would you like to retake control of the show?
I'm
fine.
pretty broken at this point. All right, so yeah, Rev, what did you think of the matchup?
No, I agree with a lot of you said. I thought this. Oh wow, that was.
Why do I have control over this? I'm sorry.
Why are you pressing buttons during?
I don't know.
Why not? Bro?
I think you killed Rev.
Because I'm not even. What happened to Rev?
I'll be
He
back.
likes to leave a lot. It's like his new thing. His Wi-Fi fucks up and he just bounces.
Your mic.
All right, I'm gonna leave before I get blamed for this. I didn't do anything.
No, stay. Hang out.
I didn't do anything.
If you leave right now, you're at the bottom, and we got to come up with something fucked up for you to do.
Why do I
got
have-
a tough challenge for him?
A what?
You have to say a nice thing about James.
I like the way that sling looks on him. He makes it look cool.
Thanks, buddy. All right.
Wasn't it on the other arm though?
This is not Nick Fury's eye patch. It did not go from eye to eye.
I don't know, dude. I think you forgot which arm to sell.
What happened to your hump?
This is why Danny hasn't been on screen in a while. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to remember what foot he told us it was.
That's true. I've actually made the whole thing up and I'm just milking it.
It's not even Danny that we're talking to. It's somebody else that he just hired.
Any AI.
It's Kevin.
Yeah.
No, it's specifically Paulie, his brother.
I probably can't do my voice.
Kevin, that's a really good Danny impression.
All right, let's try to reel this back in. Let's try to go back to normal just a little bit. So Rev said how he felt about the match. Nick said how he felt about the match. Matt, great opinion.
I actually technically never finished, but we can move on.
Oh no, continue.
Wow.
I was just gonna say, I agreed with what a lot of you said. I really liked AJ Francis's match. He showed me a lot more than I think he's ever showed me. But granted, I think the only match of his I've ever seen was him failing on that tope. So,
did you watch it live, or did you go back and watch that match where he failed?
No, I saw it on Reddit and then a billion times on Botchamania.
Fair enough.
So, I think that this being my first experience with him in the ring, he impressed me a lot more than I thought he would. Obviously, I think being in there with someone like Macklin is very helpful to that. But like you said, that spear was nasty. And I thought the ending was smart where Eric Young's guys came down and initially were helping or seemingly helping Macklin, but then in the end, it ended up costing him. So it was a well-written ending. And Francis ended up really surprising me with his ability in the ring.
Well said. Matt, are you back? Do you have an opinion on the match?
Yeah, no, I said I liked it.
Okay, cool.
Good opinion.
I'm tired.
Fair enough.
Wow.
We then go to a backstage segment as we are preparing for the main event of Sacrifice, as Team Hardy is in a little bit of disarray, as Matt is trying to straighten some things out with the Nemeth brothers. Nick Nemeth, who is suspended currently for accidentally super kicking Santino a few weeks ago, and Ryan Nemeth, who is not only a boil on the ass of TNA, but also a boil on the ass of CM Punk and AEW, it seems. Matt very much wants Nick Nemeth to team up with himself and a world champion Joe Hendry and Elijah in the main event. But they don't want Ryan Nemeth. Instead, they want Leon Slater. Quite frankly, a big move, a better move, in my opinion. Leon Slater is the tits.
Real quick, I got Leon Slater was at the GCW tournament a few weeks ago that I went to. Hung out with him afterwards. Super nice guy. Like, you know, good for him for being on this team. He deserves it.
Good
Also,
kid. Good
printed
worker.
T-shirts. Leon's. Oh, what's his name? Sorry.
Leon Slater.
Yeah, Leon Slater is the tits. Printed T-shirts.
You get that one for free, kid. But Matt gets on FaceTime with Nick Nemeth saying how much he wants him on the team. Nick says how excited he is that he and his brother are going to be on this team, teaming with Matt and the others. But Matt has to clarify that they don't want Ryan. And Nick is a little confused, but Matt just says the truth. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes Ryan. The others start to notice that Ryan is fighting back tears. They ask him if he's going to cry, and then he storms off very upset. I actually thought I really like this character for Ryan, of like the spoiled little brother character. He's really running with it, and he's not afraid to make himself look like a goof. Nick, did you see this or no?
I did actually see this.
All right, what do you think?
I thought it was a pretty cool segment. It definitely, they did a really good job of making it feel uncomfortable with that type of conversation. And the irony of Matt Hardy trying to say, hey, like, we don't, you know, your brother's a liability. We don't, like, you know, a thing or two, you know, not to get into that, but
I mean, no, but Nick even said it himself too, that he said, Matt, you know what it's like to have a younger brother who, you know, sometimes gets caught up in things that he shouldn't and can sort of lead to trouble for you and make things harder. I liked how they skated around it without flat out saying
it, right.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think this is the perfect character for Ryan Nemeth. I think he's doing a great job with it. And you know he's doing a great job with it because I can't stand him. But
in kayfabe.
And yeah, right, in kayfabe as the character. In real life, I don't no problems. At least not yet. We'll see. There's time.
We don't know him.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, in real life, you're one of the biggest hustlers I know, and I say that as a compliment to you. How do you feel about the Joe Hendry T Republic issues going on right now?
It's T Public.
T Public.
Oh, I mean, nobody should be making money off of you without, you know, you getting a piece of the pie. Like, you know, if you're good at something, never do it for free. So fuck T Public if they're a company that's making money off of Joe Hendry's back without, you know, him getting a piece of pie. And also it's Walmart too, right? And Walmart's the biggest scumbag company of all time. So fuck them. And if Joe wants to complain about it, and if he wants to whine and bitch and moan, by all means, do it.
Nestle would like a word there, but
Let me piggyback off of what Matt said. If you're good at something, never do it for free. But Joe Henry's not good at making T-shirts, so you know.
Disagree. I have several of his good T-shirts. Several.
Well, his hog T-shirt
I mean
was
this
terrible.
in the nicest way possible. You have no authority to judge what a good T-shirt is. You own every single fucking Cena T-shirt. And almost every wrestling shirt that's ever come out with. All you gotta do is make it and you'll buy it. So like it's
I am a sheep. Yes. I know what I am. I'm not ashamed of it.
I do like the irony of one of Cena's best T-shirts also got copyright struck because he stole the Tanuki suit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Also, what I said about Joe about bitching and complaining, I wasn't saying that. So she's just, I'm tired. I just meant
You're
like
saying it's sarcastic.
Yeah, like honestly, he can be his, like, I'm not saying he is whining, but like if he wants to whine about it, like that's his right because they're fucking using his image without his consent and he's not getting paid. So
yeah,
I'll put it like this. I get it. I'm not saying it's not a reasonable way to feel, but I'll say I saw a band like a year ago. One of my favorite bands. They're not super big. They play small venues like Webster Hall and shit. Like, they're not big places. Or like fucking like Music Hall Williamsburg, which is very small. Nick maybe knows what I'm talking about. But I bumped into them walking into the venue spoke to them for like a minute or two, and I was next to somebody who had a fan-made shirt through one of these sites, and then they addressed it when they were on stage. They were just like, "Yeah, I see a bunch of you guys with like, merch that's not ours, and you know what? That's just pretty good. I can't even get mad. Like if you're making good merch, it's like, hey, hit us up and maybe we'll collaborate." And that's how you should approach it. You shouldn't be being a baby about it. You should be like, oh, if my fans are doing this, let me collaborate. Like even what AEW has been doing with merch lately, and their merch has improved significantly, is because they're letting fans collaborate with them and make merch. And pretty much all the merch made by a fan is way better than any piece of garbage wrestling merch we normally get. So like, I get it, but like these people aren't doing it to people who are struggling. It's like you have to be successful enough for your image to be a commodity. So I kind of stopped feeling bad at that point. Like, am I gonna pay $200 for a jersey? Like, no, I'll probably buy like the knockoff $60 version because fuck that. I'm not paying WWE t-shirt prices when I could buy a TeePublic one for like $17, and it probably looks better and feels better.
All my jerseys are real, for the record.
And that's dope, but like I'm not paying $200 for a jersey.
Well, I haven't paid for most of them. Either I got them as gifts or paid full price. I get them on sale. So
I paid $100 for my Spongeworthy the Seinfeld Cyclones jersey. I spent $100 on that.
Oh yeah, I remember.
All right, Rev, continue telling me why you disagree with Danny. Go.
Do I have to? Can I just talk about this? Because
Yeah,
I
can we
love
move
Ryan
on?
Nemeth. I love Ryan Nemeth. He was so freaking awkwardly funny in being the elite. And I think he's still being really awkwardly funny right now. And I agree, like you said, James, it's a great character for him because everyone is just hating his guts right now at how like cringy he is. And I'm just laughing at it. So he's found a great lane. I love the end of this where Nick is like, just let me be the one to tell him he's not on the team. And Matt's like, he's been here the entire time. So this is a really funny, kind of cringy segment, but it made it good.
All right. Any last comments on this, or we can move on?
I'd say we roll.
All right. We go elsewhere backstage as Steve Maclin confronts the Northern Armory for what they did, for getting involved in his matchup. He catches Eric tells them that he did it for his own good, and that had he not gotten distracted, it would have worked out for him. Maclin tells Young that while he trusts him, he does not trust this, meaning the overall group and what he's doing with the Northern Armory. He does not trust Travis Williams and Judas Icarus. Now, I would just like to say, Judas Icarus is a great wrestling name that does not suit this guy whatsoever. I'm sorry if that's mean. I'm sorry if it's rude, but that is like a Luchasaurus name that would have worked. This guy is not it.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I knew his last name was Icarus. I didn't like when you said Judas Icarus. That was the first time I heard. I'm like, cool name.
It sounds like a band.
Yeah.
Also, too, not a good one, but very interesting combination of historical characters there, depending on how you view history. But Judas, the guy who changed Jesus Christ, and then Icarus, the guy who literally flew too close to the sun and then died by crashing into the water. So it's a very interesting combination of names there. You're fucked either way.
Eric then tells
one person was successful, one wasn't. So
Yeah, but then he went and hanged himself. So
I thought he put himself on a cross upside down.
No, St. Peter was the one who got crucified upside down because he refused to be crucified the same way as Christ.
Yeah.
I went to Catholic school. Well, we all did.
So did I. I forgot.
Yeah, no, I always forget sometimes you guys.
None of us chose that, though.
Yeah, that was not a choice.
I went to Catholic University. Yeah, there's a difference.
Yikes.
Fairfield. Go Stags. Shout out to the women that clinched today.
Anyway, Eric Young then tells Maclin to open his eyes and let the truth guide him. Maclin walks off but bumps into Frankie Kazarian, the self-proclaimed king of TNA. Kazarian, who tells him that he's just laughing at him. You know, he just lost to First Class, and now he's pushing off the one guy who actually has his back. He just doesn't get him. Macklin gives him a warning before walking off, and we are still left to remember that Frankie is holding the Call Your Shot Gauntlet trophy. We then go where we get a sort of like NXT like recap. We saw what happened on NXT this last week. We had a Moose, what's the word I'm looking for? Press conference, I guess, where he was talking to the media about his upcoming match against Oba Femi, which I think I can speak for all of us that our nips are all collectively hard at the thought of that match. And of course, the Hardys returning to WWE for the first time in a few years, and in the NXT zone.
Arena.
Sticking with it. NXT zone. And that they were confronted by Fraxium, the NXT Tag Team Champions, and quite possibly the most exciting tag team in wrestling right now. This sets up their match for Roadblock, and then we get a backstage promo from Fraxium, as which I guess I do have. As they say they want to be the greatest tag team of all time and beat the greatest tag team of all space and time, the Hardys. So I'm very much looking forward to this matchup, not just because it's the Hardys, but because I do think Fraxium is operating on a different level. Really quickly, Nick, who would you like to see win that match, the Hardys or Fraxium? Love it. Love it. Thank you. Appreciate you. Matt, what about you, Fraxium or the Hardys?
Fraxium, just because the TNA tag titles are on the line, and let's just shake it up. Even if it means WWE is like screwing over TNA, but I think it's going to be the Hardys because, like I said, again, only the TNA tag titles are on the line. The NXT tag titles are not on the line.
Something to talk about in another segment coming up, but good reminder
for sure
for that, Matt. Rev, who do you got, Fraxium or the Hardys?
I actually straight up agree with Matt. I think it would be cooler if Fraxium won because it's the TNA tag titles on the line. But I think the Hardys are going to win just because I don't think that there's going to be a lot of title changes in this, or at least early in this relationship. You just say it's 3 years, right? So I don't think it go 3 years without some title crossover. But
yeah, I think it's inevitable, but I agree. I'd be surprised if it happens this early.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be these titles.
Danny, do you care one way or the other?
Why would you phrase the question like that?
I don't think anything can get you to watch NXT if it's not Becky Lynch. And I know your deep passion for the Hardys is apathetic. It's a deep apathy.
Were you asking who I want to win or who I think's going to win?
A little bit of both. Column A, column B.
Well, I want the Hardys to win, obviously.
Yay!
That's a no-brainer. Fuck anyone from NXT who shows up in TNA is my mentality, even if they're as good as Fraxium. But
now, why do you feel that way?
I don't like the partnership at all. I'm not.
There are dozens of us. Dozens.
I don't like it at all for either. For TNA side, for WWE side, it's just let me cherry pick my talents beforehand. Let me have two options, so I have Evolve, the WWE ID program, and fuck it, let's have TNA all as the feeder for the developmental system. But yeah, no, it's totally good. The WWE is getting involved with other companies in the indies. It's a totally a good thing. That nothing bad could possibly come of this.
I feel so seen right now. So thank you so much, Danny.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go fucking Hardys, right?
Let's go Hardys.
Having flashbacks of Vince taking over the territories.
Happy birthday, James.
I thank you. I love you, and I appreciate you. We're just gonna go right past it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to ruin this. I'm on a high right now. We then go to further NXT NA action as we have Oba Femi the NXT World Champion, face to face with the X Division Champion of TNA, Moose. Oba Femi makes his entrance first. He gets a warm reception from the Full Sail crowd. I wonder why. And Moose then follows, where he has an entire team of security, where we do need to take a moment to congratulate friend of the pod, Midas Black of the main event, making his on-screen debut for TNA as a security guard in this segment. Bravo, Midas. I got to speak to you briefly tonight, man. I'm so happy for you, and hope this is the start of a lot more for you on TV. So good.
Super convenient for him too, because he's from Florida. So that was probably like nothing. He could be from one side of Florida, but probably a short trip, like probably drivable for him. So very happy for him.
Absolutely. I was watching. We were busting her chops before, but Natalia, she posted a picture of training at the dungeon, and Midas was there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of WWE people, and I think even a couple of AEW ones there too. There's a lot of people, so it's cool to see him in that picture as well.
Yeah, so that was really cool. I'm really happy for our friend of the pod here, Midas Black, and like I said, hopefully more to come. But I enjoyed this segment as both big men, talked about how both of them really wanted this match for a very long time, and that the stars needed to align to get here, and the moment it could happen, they were both ready to jump at it. Moose is hungry for that NXT World Championship. He wants to prove that he can beat Oba Femi, and Oba Femi wanting to stake his claim as a dominant champion. Moose saying that he wants to be the face of the franchise, but specifically Oba Femi's franchise. Moose warns him that the security is there to make his life easier, to make sure that he doesn't get hurt, Oba Femi that is. And Oba takes that challenge to heart, and he takes out every member of the security guard team. Sorry, Midas, you were a part of that.
Well, not before formerly known as Dirty Dango, sixed the security team onto Oba by offering them a spot in their crew.
In the system, yep.
The system, thank you. I knew
Whoever the first man to attack Oba would be the newest member of the system. And now, they all attacked at once.
Yeah, so is Midas now part of the system? We're going to have to ask him.
I'll bring it up. But hey, the more relationships you got, right? Who knows? But after taking out every member of the security team, he is then held together by the system, who, as Moose goes for a big boot, Oba's able to drag, I think it was JDC, into that big boot, taking him out, then dropping both Myers and Edwards before getting dropped by a massive spear from Moose. It's at this point that Moose stands tall, holding both the X Division Championship and the NXT World Championship above his head and above Oba Femi. I am so ready for this matchup. I know we were just talking about how much I don't really like this partnership, but these are the matches that, if they're going to happen, I want to see. Rev, what did you think? Who are you rooting for in this instance? Because going back to the point made before, only the NXT Championship is on the line here. It is not the X Division. This is not title for title. So with that said, who would you like to see win this matchup?
I think Oba's the person going over here, again, because it's only the NXT Championship on the line, but also I'd like to see him win. He's really cool, and I know Moose is pretty cool too, but Oba's got home field advantage, and he has the title, so I think he's going to end up winning. But this was a really good segment, and theory of opposite momentum. Moose was the one who got the spear in. He stood tall over Oba, and I do think that is going to lead to Oba Femi win. But good segment for both these guys. I like how Oba called out Moose for not wanting to take this challenge until now, and Moose replying that the only reason I didn't was because I only fight for big prizes, and now you have one. Now you're worth fighting. So I thought it was a good establishment of both these men's characters. And then Oba looked like a beast, taking out all the security and almost all of the system until he got cracked by Moose. So good job, and just a really good segment by everybody here, building up to Roadblock.
Matt, what about you? Who you got? Who do you want to win, given the circumstances of only the NXT Championship on the line? Moose or Oba Femi?
Solid segment. Love seeing Midas, or let's just call him. In this case, we'll call him security guard Nate. And we'll talk more about him later. But I guess I want Oba to win just because Moose is the X Division champ. If it was at the time when Moose was, world champion, and it was like both, Moose actually called him the NXT World Champion, called it the NXT World Championship. I'd want to see Moose win, but in this scenario, it should be Oba.
Fair enough. Danny, what about you? Same as before?
Yeah, I mean, Oba should win because he's going to be huge. But same feelings. I don't like him. I'm just going to keep beating TNA guys and pretend that somehow this relationship is better than their last relationship. TNA is always going to be used in their relationships, so they should probably.
At least when they were used by AEW, they got Kenny Omega out of it.
Yeah,
it's true.
And Christian.
Christian, yeah.
The same, but not really.
pretty close.
James,
Bound for glory.
It's Christian.
Hey, you're the Michael Cole here, not me. Now, Nick, you are Mr. NXT around these parts.
You don't even have to ask me. You know who I want to win.
Moose it is, baby.
He wants Moose.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to
He
me.
said Moose.
I'm for the ruler.
Moose.
Now, I'll admit, there's
Big Oba Femi victory.
There's only one reason why I want Moose to win. I am very okay with Oba having a quick NXT title reign and going straight to the main roster. That is my only reasoning.
He also just won the title too, so would be, no.
Also,
Oba Femi.
Depending on who's hurt between Julia and Stephanie Vacar, we could also have 2 world title changes then. So I don't think you're getting 2 of those at Roadblock. So it's got to be Oba. I'm hedging my bet there.
I will say,
Smart.
I don't know who else could take the title off Oba Femi. We're not getting another Tony D'Angelo story here.
Doesn't
think-
matter. He
Still,
can retire the title.
If Sean Spears can win a title at NXT, like anything's possible.
I mean, granted, that's also a title that Ricochet held. So how prestigious is it?
When Ricochet was hot.
Not hotter than now.
Yeah, Ricochet has never been hotter than he is today. And by hot, I mean momentum-wise. He is a nerd.
Well, that went without saying.
But
Might go without saying, he dresses nicely, he wears suits.
Yeah, but he also wears Eagles hats, so.
Yeah.
He also doesn't wear socks.
I mean,
know,
he's wearing dress shoes. That's pretty common, actually.
Yeah, that's a
it's
thing now.
It's still gross.
He also might have like the no-show socks too.
True. It could just be like those little like around the toe.
The ballerina socks, I think they call them.
Yeah. I just wear ankle socks.
That's
You can't
not
see
weird.
mine.
We should message him.
It's not.
What do you
It's
wear on your
actually,
feet?
it's pretty normal.
I have a pair of those. I have a couple pair of those actually.
No one wants to see your feet or your socks.
Speak
Yeah,
for
at
yourself.
least not for free.
Well, that's why you wear shoes.
You gotta subscribe. You gotta like super subscribe to the pod to see Nick's feet.
That's a tier.
I run the Market Down OnlyFans. Come see my pigs.
Why are they pigs?
My little piglets.
This little
They go to market.
piggy, this little piggy.
Okay.
Hey, look, Dragoon's here.
Hey,
Well, he's
very
not
nice.
here.
Well, he's in the chat.
He was invited, but thank you for being here.
No, don't let him off the hook. He should be on.
Yeah, dude,
top.
Rev's here.
Even producer boy showed up. This dude can't even pop in for 5-10 minutes.
He's too busy kissing girls.
Dragoon?
Yeah,
Play.
Good for him.
probably.
Wonderful.
I hope.
I'm actually really nice to Dragoon when it's not in the position of him being a commenter on the videos. You see just the comments right now. I'm defaulting to when we first met, I guess, technically.
The first antagonistic relationship between the two.
Hey, James, what was next?
Anyway, moving forward, we're going to go to the Rascals and Ace Austin taking on the Northern Armory. Now, I thought, again, it's TNA. We're guaranteed to have a 6-man tag every week at this point. Danny sounded a little bit jealous when he said you're not here. You're there.
Yeah, that's the whole thing is you're not here.
Danny is actually saying he wants you here.
Yeah, you're here adjacent.
Yeah, you're there.
You're everywhere.
Roy can't. I just finished watching Ted Lasso all the way through, by the way.
Never seen an episode.
Shame on you.
I don't have Apple.
Worth it. But yeah, this match was fine. This match was fine. Everybody sort of got their spots in. Ace, again, proving on a weekly basis that he has very good tag chemistry with the Rascals. Of course, you would after spending years wrestling them as a team with Chris Bay. Speaking of Chris Bay, we did see the Rascals using some finesse moves of their own. Nice homage to our friend who's unfortunately still in recovery. But everybody, round of applause. Chris Bay is walking. Thankfully, he's doing much better. And, you know, we're a long way from the ring return, but we are standing, we are walking, and life is looking good. So wishing you the best, Chris Bay. We're still rooting for you, and we can't wait to see what's next for you, bud. But the finish of the match coming as Wesley made his way down the ramp with his guys, with Tyson and with
Tyreek.
There you go. It'll land. It will. Eventually it'll get in there.
Just think Dolphins wide receiver.
That will actually work. I was going to say, why would you think I would remember that? But that actually would work.
Tyreek Hill.
As they are down the ramp, we had Ace and Zach Wentz jump off the top rope to take out the big guys. Wes continues with the distraction, allowing Young to hit a pile driver onto Trey Miguel and get the 1-2-3. The Northern Armory desperately needed this win as they are establishing themselves as a unit now under Eric Young's leadership instead of Josh Alexander. And this builds some heat as we're getting towards Wentz. We're getting towards the Rascals and Ace Austin versus Wesley's trio. What did you guys think of the match? I'm going to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe with the Hollywood, go eeny, meeny, miny, Nick.
Me or Rev?
You.
Me.
I get referred to as Rev.
Gotcha.
Tonight.
That's true. I did not catch this. This was while I was on my commute home to make sure I made it in time. But I'm sure it was fantastic. I'm sure Ace Austin stole the show, as he always does. And go
Tag
Canada.
me in, I got you.
Tammy, go for it.
I didn't watch it either.
I did not move him into last place.
No, it's producer boy keep showing up again, and he's in the back moving everybody around.
Okay. Matt, what did you think? What did you think of the match?
I did watch the match. I very much liked the performance of Ace Austin. Everyone else did fine as well. I'm not really sure about these Northern Lights guys, Northern Armory. I don't like that they have the hockey masks, the Casey Jones hockey masks coming out because none of them have long hair. 2 of them don't even have hair. It's like, plus that's like there's some team on NYWC that have been doing the Casey Jones mask for years. So
admittedly, Young has been using the Casey Jones mask for a long time, but the other 2 using it is just now. But hey, Stephen Amell played Casey Jones and he had a buzz cut, so there is precedent of Casey Jones having short hair.
But 2 of them don't even have hair. Like it's complete. They're completely bald.
Are you a hair supremacist?
No, I'm just saying, like, respect the source material and also like not only copyright infringement, but gimmick infringement.
Yeah,
Two
but
infringements.
they're hockey masks. They're Canadian. I think it's okay.
I can also say I have that exact Casey Jones mask in my closet. It's from NECA, well made.
I am Jack's complete lack of surprise.
Yep.
Yeah, so good match. The right team won, and they don't have to feel bad about it because they were distracted by outside interference.
I also just thoroughly enjoy the actual unit beating the makeshift unit. I'm always going to prefer that.
Same.
Always. Rev, what did you think of the matchup?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the right people won here. As you said, they're trying to establish the Northern Armory underneath Young's leadership since Josh Alexander has been run out of TNA. So I think that's smart. You continue the feud here with Leslie, and I believe they were called the fake-ass Rascals earlier. So I'm just going to roll with that. And honestly, and the Rascals and Austin look awesome. I think I've definitely seen, Austin and Bay at House of Glory. I think the Rascals were there too, if I'm not mistaken.
We met them there.
Yeah, so seeing them live was cool. Seeing them work together, obviously, Chris is sidelined right now, and I'm glad that he's doing much better. But seeing them team up was great. They looked awesome in the ring together. So hopefully we can get a lot more out of them. And I could use one of those Rascals jerseys if you guys can point me to where they are. Those are pretty fresh. So this is what I think probably the best match on the card tonight. And
yeah, I agree.
It ended a little goofy with the interference, but it was needed interference to help move the story along and help get Northern Armory a big win. So great match, really good segment, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy I watched this.
Me too, buddy. Moving on, we are going to go to on backstage once again as Mike Santana approaches Santino Marella about just the ridiculousness of this request from Mustafa Ali. Santino says that he doesn't like that it's happening either, but Ali went above his head and he's got a boss too. So just do it, prove them wrong, and then we can move past it. We then pan over as we see that Santana overhears Tasha Steelz scolding our boy, our guy, Midas Black, for not getting Ali's coffee order right.
There's Midas in the back. There's Midas in the back. Kind of.
You mean security guard Nate?
Security guard Nate. Santana, obviously recognizing him from the Hog Arena here in New York, calls him over and says, "Don't worry, man. I got you. I'll fix this for you." He grabs the coffee cup, gives us that ridiculous smirk that he hit several times in that segment, and it's very clear what he's about to do as he enters the bathroom.
Full-blown gymming the camera.
Absolutely. He was cheesing super hard. Good camera time for our guy Midas. That was great. Really happy that they chose him for this. And I actually really want to go to Danny on this because he was talking about the cartoonishness of the Jeff and Sheamus segment that WWE did a few years ago, and versus the seriousness of how he views this should go now. Now, Danny, do you think this was too goofy? The idea that he went to go pee in this cup and then give it to Ali, or do you think they managed to? Do you think the concept straddles the line well enough?
So it's still goofy, but it's not just the I am going to throw pee or give pee to this person that's inherently goofy. It's everything around it. And Ali had from what I've heard, a very serious approach about it. So it comes off as a little less goofy, whereas like Sheamus was literally a cartoon character about it. And there was like no nuance to it. Whereas here it's still early, but there can be more to it that lets it at least take itself somewhat seriously. Obviously, Jim in the camera is always a bit goofy, but it's funny in small doses, not in office-sized doses, in small doses. So,
Jesus, what was that from?
It's a hell of a
That's
shiner.
a weird reaction to pee, but all right.
I mean, if you're allergic, I guess. But what about the rest of you guys? Rev, what did you think of this segment?
I liked it. It was, you called it cartoonish, and the thing I thought of was it's very Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. Because Jim didn't invent Jimming the camera. It should be Bugsing the camera because he did it all of the time. And that's what it felt like. He saw something and just kind of, looked to the side and gave us the eyebrows and, called Midas over. And I like the fact that he, also told him, like, yo, like, what'd you let her do that to you for? Like, don't take shit from people like that. And then he was like, I got you. Give me the cup. So I like this thing. It was short. It was nice to see a friend of the pod on the, on TV again and get a bit of, I don't know if he spoke, but I think he might have said thank you or something. So it was cool to see that. I bet you Mike also probably picked him out too.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Like, oh, we need a guy for this. Like, we're using my friend here. So that was all really cool. And yeah, the Bugs Bunny-ness of it was really funny. So good stuff by everyone, especially you, Midas.
Matt, what about you? Any comments on this?
I thought everyone performed well. Again, great to see security guard Nate. But I guess it didn't ruin it for me. But my complaint is that, like, one, okay, you're a security guard, but now you're also like the person getting the coffee. Is there an overlap there? And
Yes,
two,
there actually is.
okay, fine. But then two, the person that gave Mike the pee cup should have also been there for him to pee. Like, there's nothing stopping from Mike if he is, on the sauce, if he's off the wagon again, from just getting somebody else's pee.
That is very true.
When there's no one there to, even though we have the cameras, but the cameras never count in wrestling. But again, I liked how everyone acted here. Security guard Nate, love him, and he took his licks, and then Santana being very, like, hey, like, kind of supportive of him, but also like, I'm gonna fuck shit up. I'm gonna take this opportunity to not only like make this guy feel better, but also like fuck shit up for Mustafa Ali, and give my little nod to the camera. So again, it was likable, even if I have the little complaints along the way.
So just with your nitpicks, as valid as they are, I have worked security previously, and I have had people ask me to get them coffee. Granted, they were like clients, not people I worked with, but so there's precedent for that. And
okay, I can let that one go. I can let that one go then.
But tying into that, with this job, I had to take a drug test, and I do drugs, the fun kind drugs that everyone should do. But they did a drug test and then threw them out after. So it was just to say they did them. So, like, these things are a little more lax nowadays than they used to be.
I think we're learning a lot about the workforce in America today.
Yeah.
Nick, what about you? Any thoughts on this?
I mean, I don't think it was so just to kind of like follow up on what Danny was saying before, I don't think that the segment was so goofy that it was insulting.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a big fan of a little pee-pee poo-poo humor. Gets me going. I don't know why. It always gets me. So I'm for it. Mike Santana, you're from the Bronx. You're hilarious. You get me. DX or be next.
You're
all right. I appreciate it. You're honest. You're real. And I think Mike would appreciate that as well.
Why do you keep kicking Matt off every time he leaves his chair? Just put him on screen and take the rest of us off when he does that.
That is a classic bit here at the pod, actually. But moving on, we go to our second Spitfire vignette of the night. Are we doing this? We are doing this.
Cool.
Spitfire is once again out with the elegances, both Ash and Heather, really working them to the bone by making them walk. Not even a long distance, just kind of down the block a little bit. But that was very clearly too far for Heather and Ash, who had hit their limit. They go into a gym where an unsuspecting janitor all of a sudden attacks Spitfire with the mop. Was it a mop or a broom? I don't know. It had a long handle. but he takes them out, and then he reveals himself to be none other than the concierge, George Iceman. Ash very loudly exclaims, "You're my concierge!" as they run off and are saved. This was utterly ridiculous. It was super silly. Wow, we are just still on Matt.
Producer boy's back. What do you expect? At least he has pants on.
In this instance. Let's see how long it takes for him to realize.
He won't.
Anywho.
Yeah.
Sick podcast.
Well, nothing
Everybody
better
applaud.
than dead air.
Everybody
He can't hear us yet. Hey.
Matt, how are you?
I'm good. Did we end?
No, we have just been on your empty chair for the last 2 minutes.
Oh, I was like, what is going on? Why is this just my chair? I do have to call it a night though. I have work in the morning, so.
All right, but thank you so much for being here with us tonight, celebrating this epic episode of TNA Impact.
Yes,
And
yes.
you are always welcome in the Gym Pack Zone.
Thank you. Happy belated birthday, and hopefully we'll have. I was at the Queen of the Ring premiere, so if you're watching TNA tonight, the only advertisements they had in between, for their commercial breaks were for Queen of the Ring. I was at that premiere, had a great time. So hopefully this weekend I will review the movie for you guys here on the pod, and I'll tell you about my experience in the at the premiere itself. So enjoy the rest of the thing, and I'm just going to X myself out. So bye.
Peace.
Bye, Matt.
You didn't even wait. But yeah, I thought I thought this part of the segment was a lot better than the initial vignette. I thought this was fun. Like, this was the right amount of cartoony considering the characters involved. Anybody have anything they wanted to talk about, or should we just go past it?
I did like the implication that two wrestlers couldn't jog, or maybe it's jog with a soft
Right.
J.
Well, it's because Ash is definitely rocking, like, what's the word? What kind of muscles are they? Like, show muscles?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's definitely rocking some vanity muscles.
Glamour
then they-
muscles.
Yeah, glamour. Yeah. Then they got
Glamour
their asses.
muscles.
They got their asses beat in the gym, and then
Or
yeah,
vanity muscles.
Vanity muscles. All right.
yeah.
So-
So no, this was funnier than the first part. Them eating the chicken was funny because that's easily the chicken you get in Costco. They just put it in plastic bags, and honestly, that chicken's not that terrible. So them complaining about it was also really funny.
Costco makes a lot of money on that chicken.
Yeah,
like
no,
the
and it's
three-
not even not like the rotisserie ones, like the ones in the bags. Like you get those chicken strips in the
Oh
bag.
yeah.
That's what those were, and those aren't that bad. Like all things considered, they're just grilled chicken.
Not what I would go for at Costco.
No, they're not my favorite, but like if you're on a diet, they're not a bad option.
Good to know.
It's
But
high protein, so I wouldn't be surprised wrestlers are eating them. But they called it dog food, which was really like, don't you feed this to your dogs? Also, no dogs this episode. They were in the last episode for this segment, and I missed the dogs.
0 out of 10 segment, no dogs.
Getting 0.
Moving elsewhere in the Knockouts division, we had our champion, Masha Slamovich, come out and address her enemies. Go ahead, Rev.
She was dressed as the 90s.
Thank you. Right? That was pure 90s aesthetic.
Yeah, no, she wasn't dressed, like it was the 90s. She was dressed as the 90s. Yeah. It looked like the background to a title card from Rugrats.
Really,
I think that's what it was.
there were shapes, there were squiggles, there was,
It was
like
turquoise.
washed out color. Yeah, washed out coloring. It felt safe.
The only way it could have been more 90s if it was the pattern that used to get on the paper cups.
It was as close as I think you can get without giving
Yeah.
infringement. But
They
Masha,
do sell that.
as a shirt.
Yeah. Oh, that pattern's made a huge comeback. I bet you it's on Danny's t-shirt website.
It is.
Thank you.
Masha addresses her enemies, starting with Cora Jade. Cora Jade from NXT, who's totally healthy and totally okay.
Obviously.
Time machine.
Again, time is just a construct. It ain't real.
Cleaner your time was a mistake. Shout out to this committee.
She tells Cora that she's not entering a match with Masha. She is entering a fight with Masha, and she is going to expose her. Cora comes out, talks her heel gabs, talks some trash at her, saying how she's going to expose her as not a real champion, but an overhyped champion. Both women are trading barbs back and forth until Masha is attacked by real-life villain Tessa Blanchard. Tessa just straight up ambushing her, attacking her from behind, dropping her, allowing Cora to come in, both women taking advantage of the situation and just beating down the champion until Masha is saved by Lei Ying Li, formerly known as Xia Li in WWE. Lee hits the ring, makes the big save, saving the champion, setting up for what will be revealed later in the night, a Knockouts tag team match next week on Impact, as the champion will be teaming up with Lee against Cora Jade and Tessa Blanchard. I am loving this because I said it earlier, the Knockouts division right now is scary thin. It is as thin as it's been in a very long time. So much so that one of the women in this segment is from NXT. But they are establishing a healthy challenger pool for Masha. There was a real moment where I was actually really, really worried that I thought Cora Jade was going to take the title off of Masha. And I'm feeling a lot safer about that these days. Not even in regards to the injury that happened on NXT television this last week. I just don't think it's happening. I unfortunately think that does mean Tessa's likely to win it instead. But that's a conversation for a different day. Nick, what did you think of this?
Definitely an interesting segment. I definitely agree with you on now not being sure that Cora Jade's going to win the title. I don't love the idea of Tessa Blanchard winning it. But it kind of seems like they don't have very many options.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and I don't like saying that because 2 years ago that would not have been the case with the TNA women's roster. Or the Knockouts division, excuse me. But I mean, we'll see where it goes. Truly, I have not much of an opinion on this.
No, that's fair.
That's
fair. Like I said before, there's been a lot of upheaval in the division, but I do like Lee establishing herself. She had a bit of a slow start upon her TNA debut.
Yeah,
that was injury, but it seems like she's good now, and the crowd always seems to respond to her here. I know she struggled with getting reactions in WWE. Not her fault. They never highlighted her well enough to actually get support. But I'm glad that she seems to have been finally finding her footing here. Of everyone here, who do you see as her biggest challenge, Masha's biggest challenge, Rev?
It's a good question. I don't know what's going to happen with Cora. I hope she gets cleared. By sacrifice, as if not, obviously that's going to throw things into disarray. But I don't think she wins. I think I'm with you guys, and for the same reason we've been saying with all of these titles, that we've been talking about. It's too early in this. Everyone's going to be really protective about when somebody on the older roster wins one of their titles, and I think Masha kind of just won it recently.
I think she's past 100 days at this point.
Okay,
her title reign definitely, especially in the beginning, was overshadowed by the departure of Jordynne Grace and the arrival of Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, exactly.
I think she's really finding her footing as champion.
Yeah, and then obviously Lee just got there, and I think she needs a little bit more building, but they're doing a good job with her early on. Tessa, man, the only thing I have to say about Tessa is what the crowd said. So, yeah, please. Tessa, we coming for you. Tessa, we coming for you. But, yeah, look, I don't know what TNA's plans are with her. Personally, I thought she was radioactive. and they brought her back anyway. So I don't know if the crowd's reactions in recent weeks are going to change any of their plans or feelings towards her. But at the moment, she's probably the biggest challenger for the title. Whether or not that changes because of the any sort of backlash TNA seems to be getting, we'll see. But it's weird that she's back. It kind of makes me miss Scott D'Amore. And it's a weird spot. But shout out the crowd. They're doing great. They're doing great with her.
Danny, do you agree with Rev that Tessa is the Imagine Dragons song Radioactive?
As if he means bad and heartless and hollow and meaningless. Is that what you meant, Rev?
I mean, she probably is all those things, but I just was more considering her bullying and her racism.
Oh,
How does that compare to Radioactive?
Oh, I said a word and James just took it to a different place. That's all.
Okay.
I was talking to the music guy. I feel like I was setting him up perfectly for that.
Doing the
did.
Kornheiser thing.
Imagine Dragons sucks. Everyone knows that. It's like hollow garbage. I mean, so is Tessa, but like, you know.
We did get the good Daniel Bryan song.
Yeah. Well, we got the good Daniel Bryan package. That song
the package made the song, not vice versa.
As someone who is a big college football fan, I think for like 3 or 4 years straight, ESPN used an Imagine Dragons song as like their theme for the commercials for the season. And then Imagine Dragons played halftime at the college championship game for like 3 seasons straight. Oh my God, I was so sick of them. So bringing them back up just unlocked a lot of memories I had completely suppressed. So thank you for that.
I apologize for triggering you. Not my intention.
I guess to get back on top, I agree with Rev pretty much across the board. I think we got to accept the inevitability that she's going to win this title, but like, we don't have to like it or support it or watch, except for James. He has to watch. But
I'm contractually obligated to here at the pod. I will say, and it's unfortunate because I love Masha. I'd rather Tessa go after the Knockouts title than in any way go after the men's title. And
she could go after the NXT men's title because that's okay.
Not a chance in
her
that.
versus Oba Femi feels
that
kind of cosmically fair.
would be tantalizing.
I feel like the
Book it.
universe created Oba Femi to create the karmic situation for Tessa in that instance.
He's coming for you.
But all right, moving forward, we're almost done with the show. We revisit Mustafa Ali backstage. Did everybody say something, or did I skip anybody on that?
No, you're good. Matt's not here anymore, so you're good.
We go backstage with Mustafa Ali again, who was given his coffee by Tasha Steelz. She informs him also that Santana's test came back negative. He is surprised, he is dismayed, and he's looking for another way to discredit Mike Santana. He then takes a sip of that coffee and has a very strong reaction to it. He sends Tasha away, he swallows the coffee, and I think is about to be sick. I thought this was a fun little payoff. I agree that it's an icky segment. It's an icky subject matter, but they found a fun way of kind of dealing with it where Mike ends up on top and proves that this is an unfounded accusation. So I think they're able to handle this in an appropriate way. Does everyone agree?
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
Good payoff. Definitely throw
Like I said, big fan of pee pee poo poo jokes. All for it.
Yep. And I also just got to say, I'm happy for Tasha Steelz that she's involved with Mustafa Ali. She was definitely spinning her wheels for quite some time in TNA after having lost the Impact Knockouts title a couple of years ago. And she had been struggling to kind of find herself again. This is a very big character change for her, but it's consistent TV time, and I think she needed some freshening up. So good for Tasha.
Can I also just say, too, that, like, I do like that we closed the loop, hopefully closed the loop on Mike passing the drug test this quickly, and it wasn't some, like, drawn-out thing where he's like, oh, like, you know, I don't want to take it. And they're like, why are you not going to pass? Like, I'm glad he's just like, he was pissed that he had to take it just on, you know, on principle, but he took it, he passed, it's over, and he got the comeuppance, no pun intended, on Ali. So,
Wait,
Cuppence, I put a Cuppence in there.
no, I understand, but do we think that's what it was?
No, it was the cup joke. Forget it.
Okay.
Move on. It was bad.
Rev, spell ICOP.
N-O.
I don't think he spelled it correctly, Danny. Moving on.
He failed English? That's impossible.
Moving to our final.
Another thing for me to Google.
The main event, the Hardys, the TNA Tag Team Champions, taking on, of all people, the Colons.
The Colons.
Why, guys?
I don't know how we ended up here where Eddie and Orlando are working for TNA. I'm not against it. I always felt they were an underrated team that had a lot to offer, but were always presented pretty poorly. But I don't know how they ended up in a main event of a TNA pay-per-view. Feels really bizarre. But we're here, and we're just going to get through it. The match itself was fine. I've been a long proponent that since the Hardys showed up in TNA again in this new current run, they are operating at a level they haven't in quite some time. They look way better here than I think they ever did in AEW. I think they look a lot more solid. I think they're a lot more fluid. I know those are two different things, but you get what I'm saying. And
they look a lot more gaseous.
I mean, Matt does. For his sake, he shouldn't be. But they are absolutely, I think they found the right spot. I think I know there are some people that aren't thrilled that they're the tag team champions, but they're undoubtedly the most overact in the tag team division for TNA. And the crowd absolutely eats them up. So I think this is where they belong. And I'm cool with that. They get to show up in WWE from time to time. I saw somebody on Reddit say it beautifully. WWE must love this arrangement right now because they're going to be able to use the Hardys whenever they want. But if the unfortunate circumstance happens where Jeff screws up again, they can clearly say, he's not our guy. This isn't our problem. So I think it is kind of the best of both worlds here. The match itself was, again, a little too quick. The main event, the bell didn't ring until I think there was maybe 10 minutes left in the show.
And there was a commercial.
And there was the commercial halfway through. It never really hit that next gear, in my opinion. The Hardys were gearing. I said gear twice. It's losing all power, that word. The Hardys were getting ready to get the win. They had hit the plot twist, which I just love that move. I
Great
love
name.
the plot twist. It's Jeff hitting the twist of fate into Matt hitting a jumping neck breaker. So Jeff hits his like sort of stunner twist of fate that like it
bounces him up.
Yeah, and then Matt catches him for that neck breaker, and I think it's a really good tag finish. As they're gearing up for Jeff to hit a swanton, the system comes out, begins attacking the Hardys, protecting their tag team partners for the Sacrifice pay-per-view. As they are gaining the upper hand and beating them down, Joe Hendry's music plays. He comes out flanked by Elijah and Leon Slater. They make the save, send the system and the Colognes. That felt wrong too. I don't know why.
Colognes. It's not that hard.
I
You
know,
grew up in the Bronx. Come on.
I made the joke about the colons, and then I tried fixing it, but I still had colons in my head. It just didn't. I messed myself
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. As the baby faces fend off the heels, Director of Authority Santino Marella comes out and declares that he is sick and tired of this. He wants there to be a fair fight, and in doing so, he made the 10-man tag match at Sacrifice a cage match. Yes, Macaulay.
Sorry, I was channeling Matt there, actually. That seems like something you would do.
It would. This is on top of Jeff taking on Moose for the X Division title in a ladder match. So we're getting a lot of gimmicks at this pay-per-view, and I'm here for it.
Well, somebody has to be sacrificed at Sacrifice, so...
It's true. I mean, Jeff is definitely losing. But, Nick, did you see any of this?
Bits and pieces towards the end. I didn't see any of the match, so I can't really comment a whole lot on that. But I did try and catch up a little bit towards the end. I mean, again, like it served its purpose. It did what it had to do. I'm sure it'll make, you know, a good segue into their match. But
yeah, I agree. It feels like this should have been the go home segment, but we have another Impact before the pay-per-view. So it feels like maybe this should have been saved for next week.
right.
But it is what it is. I'm excited for the cage match. TNA cage matches historically tend to be pretty good. So that'll be fun. Rev, what did you think of this matchup and what happened after?
I mean, it was fine. It was, you know, 4 40-year-old guys in the ring together for like 5 minutes of screen time.
Hey,
Yeah, so my bad. Respect my elders. But yeah, it went fine for what it was. It wasn't as good as the 6-way tag, but you know, they're just trying to build to this, you know, these 2 huge blow-off matches at the pay-per-view, and it did its job in doing that. We got the steel cage out of it. Hannafin was really hyped. He said it's been the first cage match TNA in like 10 years, I think he said.
That's
so
crazy.
Yeah. Which is weird, right? I feel like
it feels like it's not that hard a match to have.
Yeah,
you know?
I was gonna say, like, it's really not. Yeah, cages aren't that expensive. We just saw a steel cage at Hog the last time we were there. Yep. So,
all right, admittedly, all respect and love to Hog. Those cage matches are fucking terrifying because they are jerry-rigged together, and it's just a matter of time before something falls apart.
Yeah, no, those are held together by twine and rubber bands and band-aids and shit. So, yeah. But it still looks cool. And my point is, like, you can get a cage. So, but it's cool that they set that up. A 10-man tag in a cage is going to be batshit crazy as well.
Yep.
So, we'll see how that goes. And yeah, look, it was what it was. You went into a chaos, and I got some more Santino out of it. So
there you go.
What else can I really ask for?
Danny, you got anything to offer? This situation, you have so much to offer in life. You are a good friend and a good person.
Love it.
He unmuted. He's here. Damn it, he muted again.
I feel like he fell asleep and we woke him up and then he was like, eh.
Well, that was very articulate and I appreciate you, Danny. Thank you. Well, guys, this was Impact. This was TNA Impact on the road to Sacrifice, where the numbers and the odds are never in our favor, unless you add Samoa Joe. I am super thankful that I have my friends with me here on this celebratory birthday episode of the Gym Pack Zone. I really appreciate you guys being here. I'm sorry that it was more of a filler episode of Impact, but I really do appreciate that you covered the show and watched it with me. Any final thoughts on the show tonight before we go home and do our shtick?
Nick, you can go take it first.
I thought overall, not a bad episode. Admittedly, it was I don't want to say it's been a while since I've watched an episode of Impact. Generally, just it's hard for me to watch it live. I generally only can catch what's going on after the fact. But overall, a solid show. Again, still nothing's going to make me care about AJ Francis. And
it's starting to feel personal at this point.
I don't know. He
got that go away heat for you.
Yeah, in everywhere. But whatever. And I hope they give Ace Austin all the titles at some point. And
totally agree.
Yeah,
totally agree. Danny, what did you think of the show tonight?
On a scale of 1 to 5,
Yes.
I'd say it was a 3. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say it was a 3.
That is worse. That is not how math works in conversion, but I appreciate it. I was honestly expecting a 6 at that point. I have no one to blame but myself and Matt.
You know, us asking whose birthday was it, and it was James's last week, but we missed the episode again because James was partying too hard. So we're celebrating this week. That's why we had a full house tonight.
Having a
James
cat-
had a
I think
James had a
James
birthday
should be the one
hangover.
pissing in the cup, honestly.
Yeah, because I was just about to say he had a birthday hangover, and that is a combination of drinking too much, smoking too much, and probably
His prescription
taking your
painkillers.
shirt off in public.
I'm not Bert Kreischer. I'm better than that.
I'm a machine.
I also wanted on the record that all I did was have a casual steak dinner. That was my birthday.
Oh, so you
They
ruined your
must
shoulder
have-
cutting it. That's
they-
what happened.
So no,
Or do your
all right,
parents cut it
So
for you? Like
James
your
has
sis?
money, so when he says steak
Was it like
dinner,
a
means he was
red
stuck onto
wine
the
sauce
bathroom
steak
and-
dinner or
Are you guys familiar with the melting pot?
Like
of
fondue?
America?
Yeah, New York is a melting pot. Yeah,
It's a restaurant, the melting pot. It is a fondue place. Where you
Oh,
sort of-
right.
Yeah, where you
You
fondue.
got steak dinner at a fondue restaurant?
It is delicious.
you did
Like,
cocaine in the bathroom of a fondue place where you got steak.
Joke's on you, sir. I have a deviated septum. I would die.
I don't like cocaine. I don't like
Don't
cocaine,
you
but I love
feel
the smell.
silly?
That's probably why he missed the episode last week.
Oh, so you're a gum rubber? Wow.
Jesus.
You know it's upsetting. He didn't get to send you a gift.
It's okay. You know what? You know what? You have given us enough super comments in the past. That is my gift, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate you. You know it. But guys, thank you again so much for being here. Rev, go for it.
I didn't get to say what I liked about the show.
Dude, I'm so used to you doing this job that I just forget. So I apologize. Tell me what you thought of the show.
Like James is in charge. If he doesn't want you to speak, he won't let you speak.
That's true, but I felt like cutting him off. No, I've actually now watched Impact 2 weeks in a row, so okay. But no, I like this episode. I honestly, made it worth it for me was the 6-man tag. Getting to see Ace Austin and the Rascals team together was absolutely worth the price of admission, which was watching it on a Canadian channel. But yeah, so
Allegedly.
I didn't see any Queen of the Ring commercials. Yes, allegedly. But now this was good. I think they're doing a good job building to Sacrifice. The only thing I really need answered is what does Santino think of the heel turn of one John Cena?
Don't say anything.
That's all I need to know.
Shout out to Santino, by the way, who got the warmest of welcomes from the Full Sail audience.
Because they brought his music back, and it's some of the greatest entrance music ever in the history of WWE.
One, completely agree. But two, I'm glad that he gets the appreciation. Santino did so much for WWE during like a dark period of WWE that sometimes I think it's easy to forget how good he was and how fun he was. So I'm glad that even if it was just the music that warmed people up, I'm glad that he was able to appreciate that. And I'm glad that they brought it back to TNA too. Like it carried over in Full Sail. So that was awesome.
And I mean, also like the music is great, but I think the people were cheering him because he did a lot of great work in WWE. So did his sister. So I'm glad people welcomed him back so warmly.
Absolutely.
Did you say his sister?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His sister did great work.
Santino was amazing.
Yeah.
Ariana Grace is actively looking for her. But,
I don't even want to humor. I don't even want to humor that. I don't even want to like play along like a bit.
It's still
Danny
real
just
to me,
Danny just wants you guys to stop.
See, it's Trump's America, so stuff like Santina makes Danny very uncomfortable.
That's why Matt's going to be okay after tonight.
So let's do some shameless cheap plugs before we go. This Sunday we will be covering AEW Revolution. Very excited for that card, and again another one that's got my nips hard. We may or may not have people at MSG this upcoming week for Monday Night Raw and for NXT Roadblock. Gotta see how much I hate myself and my wallet, but we'll cross that bridge as we get there. Tonight, actually, our very own Nick is, I believe, downloading WWE 2K25.
As we speak, 30 out of 87.99 gigs.
Woo!
Just throwing it out there. Give me like in like 20 minutes, I'll probably be playing as Sol Ruka.
Yeah.
Well,
Once
you
we
should get a
log
better
out of
computer.
this,
Download it faster.
well, once we log out of this, I imagine that's going to start really kicking.
Yeah.
I'm not promising anything for tonight. Obviously, there's a lot of bugs we would need to figure out on that. But I do think I can say, moving forward with this launch of 2K25, both Nick and I will actually pay you. Like, I'm making this bet with you now. If Jordan jumps on with you, I will send you a crisp $10 bill.
Oh my God. Dear Jordan, get on games. Love Nick.
I thought you were going to pay him to come over to show you how to live stream.
Oh my God.
Also true.
James is the most technologically inept person we have on this.
Inept is such a dirty word. I am technologically lax.
I like inept better.
Okay. But yes. Without getting into specifics, because we're hammering out some details, everybody can expect a new addition to the pod, which is Nick and Jordan covering the video game aspect of wrestling. I'm very excited for you guys to see it. I am going to be working Nick to the bone, and it's going to be great. It's going to be
awesome.
So if you guys have any suggestions for things that you would like to see covered in the video game department.
Acclaim just announced that they're a video game company again.
Yep. Shout out Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
There you go. There you go. Whole new world for us.
We're gonna start making Nick play like No Mercy or something.
Danny, is there anything you'd like to shamelessly plug?
Yeah, absolutely. Since we're talking about video game stuff, add me on Pokemon Unite. My username is Becky Lunch. That's the only reason I plugged it, is because that's the only thing.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's my, yeah.
I love it.
I usually put Skibbo on everything, but Skibbo was taken, and I refuse to be a add numbers or an underscore person.
Yeah, fuck that.
So
excuse my language.
I was like, I need something where I can get just the full words, and Becky Lunch was available.
Oh my God. Well, there you have it, guys. Go check out Becky Lunch on Pokemon Unite. Otherwise, go check us out everywhere. If you're a first timer, thank you so much for checking us out on my birthday. Please hit that like button so we know we're doing something right by you. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button so you're not new anymore. You can just be part of the club. Not the Bullet Club, because that's way out of past its prime. But, just part of our group, our gang, if you will. If you're one of our regulars, like you know it, like Maria, like anybody who was in the comments tonight.
JL popped in.
Did he tonight? Or
just at the end here, he popped in.
Oh, yeah? JL, thank you so much for being here, man. We're so happy to have you back. Like, not joking. It's cool to have you. Check us out on all of our social medias. Rev was kind enough to put all of the links in our description below, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Blue Sky or X or
Twitter.
No. You almost confused me there.
It's Twitter.
We're everywhere.
Instagram is the one you missed.
I don't know if you know that, but it's banned in the United States. It's crazy.
Onlyfans.com/mark it down. Come see my toes.
All right. My name
we might have to go squat on that.
My name is James Gisanti, joined by Nick Cummings, Nick M, Danny, Skibbo, Becky Lunch, and formerly producer boy Eric Visanti and Matt Cascone. Thank you so much. Have a good day. As always, watch wrestling and, of course, watch TNA. Rev, take us home.
And since James forgot, we'll see you on Sunday for Revolution.
I said it before.
I'm kidding. Good night, everyone.